What's up, guys? So this will be the team for today's video. I forgot to record this before I did Sage. So what I decided to do is run Minato and Shisui together to get that barrier going. And pretty much putting Kurenai and the Wind Main together for the added protection as well as to combat Root. Because it is pretty much the point where I fight so many ninjas with immunities. And I just wanted to give this a shot. Alright guys, so using Minato and Shisui on the same team, something that I've always wanted to try, and on paper it seems good. Shisui and Minato by themselves are very strong ninjas, and you do have Shisui's barrier, so in a sense, they should work well together. And then I figured to add Kurenai as well as the Wind Main, so Kurenai gives you the added support as well as the Genjutsu Mirror. And then you have the Wind Main getting rid of immunities and giving herself and Kurenai the immunity. So it seems like it's a good idea. Now I was using the clones passive because I wanted to have meat shields for Shisui and Minato. I feel like they're on the squishy side. They should avoid as many hits as possible. So to pretty much prevent them from getting crowd controlled as well, I put this on the team, and it really made the fight so much longer, mostly because Sage is ×1 speed, and it just really drags out the battle. But it keeps your ninjas safe, which is good. Another downside of the team would be you can't use Kurenai's Mystery as well as Wind Main in round 1, unless they have some kind of 40 chakra cost mystery going off at minimum. So if you do end up getting Minato crowd control round 1, you're kinda at a disadvantage, but you would have Shisui to follow up, and since both of them have dodge, you should have no issues getting either mystery off first, unless of course their position 1 goes, then it's gonna go before you. But anyway, with the team itself, it felt super slow because of the clones. I would probably get rid of them if I'm running it for Sage. Even though you get extra protection, I would get rid of the clone standard and go for the repulse attack and change the last passive for the one that gives the enemy team blindness, because even if you do run against immunities, which I wasn't fighting a lot of lightning mains for a funny reason. When I finally used the Wind Main to counter this, I'm not fighting against too many lightning mains. So anyway, you know, the blindness passive would have worked out really well, especially if you get a 3-person blind. They can't conduct any standard attacks for that round. Works out really nice. So I would personally run that just for Sage because the fights are too long, unless you're fighting really strong opponents. And this time around, it was a very casual and quiet Sage. I probably only had, I think, one very difficult fight, which you will end up seeing later, and it was a very bad moment of me getting Oasis. I mean, there's a term for people getting EA'd, for those of you who play any games by them. So all I gotta say is, with these servers, we gotta say you're getting Oasis, because that is pretty much what happened. But anyway, round 1, get rid of the mysteries, or you can just choose not to Wind Main. Most people will assume you're running Dance of Impetus. Most people always assume that any Wind Main on the team is running Dance of Impetus. People don't really run the 4th mystery to get rid of immunities. So you can pretty much get people off guard sometimes. And it's not all the time, but some people will assume you're going to be running a way to get rid of immunities, and some will assume Dance of Impetus. So either way it works. Now with the addition of Summon Mysteries, I guess this is a new thing I'll have to get used to. You can't really get your Summon Mystery out round 1, so for this team probably run Shiba, and it would probably be better to run Shiba without the clones. Because then you'll still have a Shiba anyway, but I don't have access to that summon yet. Definitely when I do get it, I will start using that. The Pakun, unless you wait with your Wind Mystery for round 2, or running Dance of Impetus, then you can pretty much get it to go off. And all those extra tags would help out Minato for whenever you do so. So I guess the idea would be, you run Dance of Impetus, you hope that you can get a tag off round 2, you would use Minato's Mystery, probably wouldn't be able to Shisui unless Kurenai's passive helps out, but you should probably be able to. in some cases. After you use both mysteries, then you would Dance of Impetus with the Wind main, reapply tags to the entire team, and next round you can Minato again. So it seems good with Summon Mysteries, but for the most part, you're gonna be without it. And I don't see the Summoning Mysteries feature feel so lackluster at the moment. I was really looking into it, finding all these kind of teams, and it kind of sucks at this point. There's really no way for you to get a Summon Mystery off round 1, unless you're running against like Katsuyu. So in my opinion, I think Shiba is probably the only summon that you'll actually be able to use. The Katsuyu round 1, if you have a level 1, it gives you a 6% heal, which after taking standard attacks, I guess it's a good thing. But that allows you to use it since your first round. So you have more versatility with that. So I would probably only run Shiba, and maybe only run Katsuyu. I almost forgot the name. But those are pretty much the only 2 summon mysteries that are probably worth anything at this point. And even then, it's a very awkward feature. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot better than it was. But it's something I will rarely be seeing in battle, because the way I make teams and the way most teams are running lately, you really depend on the main character using a mystery round 1, and there's rarely a case where round 2 mysteries will go off besides Dance of Impetus, unless you're doing water main shark bombing. That's when Gamachu will be really good. But for that, you also need to end up getting the breakthroughs for Gamachu. So it's just, Summoning Mysteries is a very awkward feature, and I can say I really do not like it. Maybe over time I'll enjoy it, but for sure I guess Shiba is probably the best summon to use for the moment, until you get a Katsuyu and pretty much max it out. Otherwise, it's a very lackluster feature. I had higher expectations for it. But enough about that. So, with the team, Chaos from Kurenai, Chaos from Shisui, tags from Minato. It does a very high amount of damage. And I was using Dog of Hell summon. You could pretty much go the King of Hell route, but the combo gets, I think it only goes up to 3 or something like that. So, it's a very risky endeavor, but the team is doing a lot of damage mostly because of Minato scaling, and pretty much as long as he can hit a tag target, it's gonna work out. So here, going up against some Hedons, this is the good thing about it. If you fight those Hedon, Roshi, and B teams, you're always gonna be able to get their immunities off from Hedon and the main itself. So it pretty much works out really well against the Lightning mains. Here I should have done it before Minato attacked, but you know, that's just what happened. So at least we still get the tag off. Next round I would have been able to get the mystery going if he didn't die. So leaves Hedon vulnerable. And the best thing about that is that it also gets rid of immunities, but it gets rid of every single buff. So they end up doing a lot less damage, and you have way less things to worry about. So the Chaos as well is very useful. The team, I wouldn't say it's one of the best teams I used in so long, and it's a very solid team, but I would say it's a good team. From Sage itself, I had good results. You know, it wasn't a team that really lost me a lot of fights. So I really don't have anything great to say about it. I honestly it felt pretty boring using this lineup in Sage, just because at times 1 speed with all the clones, and I wasn't really fighting any kind of like meta-based lineups or endgame type lineups. It was just some, like, I haven't remembered the days where I've seen so many Sage Narutos and just people running awkward positions and awkward lineups. I mean, this team itself was awkward. Running Lightning main with Hedon, B, and Danza. I don't know. Like, there's just some really awkward lineups tonight. So I can say that I really did not enjoy this team like I thought I would. Maybe in the future to run it without clones, using Shiba instead, using the blindness passive and going with the standard attack for repulse. Will probably make the team a lot better and at least more fun, but yeah, compared to the last couple of Sages I've been doing, this was very, very boring with this team. So, I don't know. I honestly hope that they work out a lot better in the future. Going up against the Shisui, Anbu, Kakashi, and Fire main team. So, the nice thing about the Wind Maze mystery is even though you can't target Kakashi or Shisui, you still have the ability to get rid of their hidden passive if in chance they get caught in the AoE. So here I wait for the fire main to hit, and I meant to hit on the fire main, but it ended up clicking on the clone, but it ended up getting Kakashi's hidden off. So it's kind of really good to get rid of buffs because of this. So I do like using the fourth mystery, and it's something I don't really use too much because like everyone else I prioritize Dance of Impetus because everybody wants to get that whole reset going, and it is very good to use. So, you know, I honestly had a lot higher expectations for the team. I feel like I've been let down by it just because of how slow paced it was going, but for the most part, Minato was safe. I haven't had any issues with getting crowd controlled, and the damage was good. But otherwise, there really was nothing special or outstanding using this. If you had to use Hokage, Minato, and Shisui, I would just say use separate teams for them and don't really combine them together. Unless there's maybe different routes you can go. The same kind of team would be able to work with Earth Main, and you get second standards and more buffs as well. So you can play this kind of lineup off many different ways. You can also change Kurina out for somebody. I mean, I guess the more outrageous thing you could probably do is end up using like Madara in the second position and put Shisui third. You know, get some kind of buff going, and he can handle hits because he's immune to Taijutsu and has super armor. So it's good in that case, I guess. But it really does need to have different ninjas for it to be a more impactful lineup. So this variation of the Shisui Minato was not really as good as I thought it would end up being. But anyway, I wanted to get you guys out the gameplay just because it's Sage, and for the most part, it was a team that got results. So you can't really say it's a bad team until it starts losing every single fight. Am I right? You know, I've had a couple of Sages this year where maybe at least, I'll say at least 2 Sages where I tried to record to you guys and got obliterated because of the stupid team I wanted to use. I think I still have them recorded. I just never like bothered editing it or releasing it for obvious reasons. And then here I'm fighting a round 1 Tendo lineup, which I'm like, who tries these things? Like, this is something I probably would try for video purposes, but regular players doing this, you know, it's really unexpected. And it's just, man, I don't know. I guess all the YouTubers gotta get all the fun, right? Damn YouTubers. But anyway, for my boy ended up getting Chaos before she could even give chakra to the team. So the Tendo dream is deaded. I can't wait for Tendo's breakthroughs whenever that happens because he gets his prompt back and ends up restoring himself to being the King Tendo that I remember from the 1.0 days. And I honestly miss Tendo. He was one of the most fun super rares I used in the game. Back when he had his 60 chakra cost prompt, he was a really strong position with ninja. So the breakthroughs would be fun to use. It's just a matter of how much are they going to cost to get, and if we end up getting the whole reworked breakthrough system, so maybe it'll be a lot easier and hopefully cheaper to get that done. But eventually I would like to revisit Tendo. Round 1 Tendo teams in Sage are just not going to work. Maybe against certain people, but if I have to fight against the big boys, which here is finally the most entertaining fight of the night. So when I'm fighting Shisui, Madara, Susanoo Itachi, and Earth Main, I'm just like, damn, like what is going on? This is a really scary team to go up against. So Itachi having immunities to everything, and his freaking standard attack has to be the hardest hitting standard attack in the freaking game because it's ridiculous. Here I should have waited for the Boulder Jutsu to go out first and then end up using the mystery, but I forgot that Madara would get chakra back because of the Itachi Chaos. And my Minato ends up getting hit ridiculously hard. And then not only that, but Shisui had his dodge still. So this fight was already like, damn, you know, the misplays were real for me. But I did end up seeing the Katsuyu summon. So she's pretty much one of the better choices to use right here. He was gonna end up Shisuing me. I had no tag targets, so I was gonna hit Madara, get him Chaos, the mirror bounced back the chaos to Madara, so he ended up getting chaos anyway, and I should have hit the Earth Main at that point. Then we have Shisui getting tagged, so I guess what I wanted to do was pretty much kill off Shisui, but you know, I just don't end up doing it, and I'm taking so much damage from this lineup. Shisui got rid of my Wind Main's immunity as well, so it's just, she ends up getting chaos. Madara gets tagged, and you know, this part was what shocked me and Saru. We were like, you guys know that Minato hits Taijutsu and Ninjutsu, but his Taijutsu is what scales, and his highest stat is Taijutsu by far. So we were both shocked at how Madara got killed by the Ninjutsu part alone, because he's immune to Taijutsu, so he got hit by like 13k damage, enough to kill him. And that was just from the Ninjutsu part of the mystery, which was just hilarious at how much damage Minato ended up doing right there. And the fight was just ridiculously close. I didn't expect it to be this close, especially against these ninjas. I mean, that team is definitely a lot more overpowered, especially on paper. When you think about it, you have immunities and extra attacks, and the dodge is just, it looks a lot better than the team I have. So at this point, it ends up going down to a Shisui versus Shisui. And this is where the worst part of the game is. This happens to me like every few weeks, where I'll run Shisui and it ends up leading off to this. So you already know how it's gonna go down. I end up getting Oasis right there. I mean, I basically wait for the standard to go off and then mystery, but it obviously freaking Oasis me since the server skipped the round anyway. They didn't bother mysterying me until the next round, so I get screwed. But then the servers all of a sudden slowed down enough for him to get my dodge off and chaos me. So at this point, I just got so salty. It honestly went from being a good fight to like, wow, I got robbed by Oasis's servers at that point. It's ridiculous, and it's just, wow, I don't know. That was honestly disappointing to me. It was such a good point on the fight until that. I feel like I should have won that because I would have been able to get the Shisui mystery off a lot sooner. And I guess just because he would probably end up taking more damage than that, it would have probably ended up me winning, I don't know. But either way, I ended up getting disappointed because of that. It was unbelievable. Like, I got Oasis. It was just so bad. But then going up against Kishimaru, Fire Main, Shisui, and Jinpachi. After that, you know, just typical casual lineups that you'll be seeing. And honestly, that freaking Earth Main fight just, wow, that was the most excitement in the entire Sage. And it ended in such disappointment for me. But I mean, that was crazy. I didn't expect the team to survive up until that point. I was shocked. I was surprised Madara died. I still can't believe he just got destroyed. But yeah, you know, this team doing that well against that kind of lineup, I guess it's really not as uneventful as I thought it would be. But like I said, the team has strong ninjas involved, and it has a good enough synergy for it. So it should perform well. If you guys do decide to try out this team, you'll probably have a lot better results than me, or at least more fun. But I'm pretty sure it's because of the clones, that's why I really didn't have as much fun as I thought I would. So then I go up against the freaking Kushina with Shisui, Minato, and Fire Main. And I'm like, okay, Kushina's just stay immune, drop my immunities as well for the back line. And I don't know, it's just really awkward situation since they have two dodges and I'm trying to save this mystery, hoping that I can get some kind of AoE damage to knock the dodges off. He ends up doing a mystery, and then I get hit by Kushina as well. And it just ends up hitting my clone, which is kind of funny. At this point I just say whatever, and I just end up hitting to try and at least get the shield off from Kushina and get the other dodges off, but it just really didn't matter since I had no ways of reaching them. But it ends up getting a lot more interesting in the second round. So not only do I have to prepare myself against another Kushina ult, but there's gonna be a Minato coming as well. So end up Shisui the fire main, which I really love this the round 2 scroll. It makes such a huge difference getting, like, I don't know if it's 7% or 9% damage, but it makes such a huge difference honestly in the game. Ever since I pulled that scroll, one of the best scrolls you can pretty much get. So hitting the fire main, taking his buff out and making him chaos. Then I have to also worry about the Minato doing some damage to me, which wind main stuff keeps her immunity. And Kurenai ends up getting stopped, so at this point, the clone got tagged, and I was like, okay, now's my chance to try and do as much damage as possible with Hokage Minato. And I just always love his animations, you know, they're just the coolest thing to see after so long of not having him. But Hokage's Minato's damage himself, it just really elevates it to me. He just hits ridiculously hard. So Hokage Minato teams should always be focused on him being position 1, but sometimes you can play him as the second position and it will work out. So, but we get on to freaking Lightning Main with Ringo and Great Ninja War Hinata and Deroy, like some kind of lineups this today. I don't even know. So obviously it's gonna be running root. I hit the Lightning Main since he's in the front. And the funny thing is that out of all the ninjas, it ends up hitting Ringo, and she was the only one that kept her root. So he was basically just really unlucky. But the Lightning Main gets bombarded from all the damage. Ends up getting chaos, hits Great Ninja War Hinata. Great Ninja War Hinata teams, man, I still gotta try her out, just for fun. I don't know, I need Sage ideas for next week. There are a couple of teams I still want to run, but I don't know what can really be something super interesting and something fun that you just don't see every day. But I don't know. I'll have to think of it when I get that next Sage, which will be for Tuesday. But tomorrow, you guys will be seeing the Team Minato Bond Adventures with Kapow, which is something to look forward to. But that Sage did not go so well. So here is space time. You know, prior to this first fight, I was sitting there for 6 minutes while him and someone else in the chat were talking and having a full conversation for 6 minutes, and then he decided to start the fight. And we were both there from the beginning of the 10-minute countdown. So I was like, at this point I was already upset. I was not liking the way the team was working out because of how slow everything was, and then he made me wait 6 minutes for this. So I was just like, damn, man. But Lightning Main, Kushimaru Mangetsu, and a random Utakata. Like, who would have thought this would be in the lineup? So it's interesting. Don't know if it's gonna work, but it is interesting. So finally, after 6 minutes of just listening or reading the conversation, it goes. And here you see the clones. I swear, the clones are a good thing for the team because it does let you soak up extra damage. But I hate running clones because of how slow it makes the battle compared to everything else. And space time is also ×1 speed, because real time has to be ×1. You know, but sometimes I wish it was ×2, even if it leads to more misplaying. At least there should be an option. If both players agree to it, it goes ×2. And it'll be on them. But no, it's not gonna work out. So immunities in the dodge. Utakata hits me with that mystery for Minato. I remember there was a time where I actually used Utakata, but I don't think I ever got any gameplay. This was a long time ago, before I even got Shisui, and not doing as much YouTube. But Utakata is a fun ninja to try out in Great Ninja War. Besides that, we're using the regular teams, I don't know. So round 2, I'm just waiting for that. Minato ends up hitting it off. Actually not round 2, but the same round. Kills Utakata, drops the Lightning Main, ends up dropping everybody else low HP. But for the most part, as you guys saw in this team, Kurenai does not really mystery too much. She's just kind of there for being a distraction, getting her chaos from a standard or chase, and just mostly there for the mirror if anything, because I rarely use her mystery in this team. But for those times you do use it, it will save you for whoever has debuffs, being Minato mostly, and sometimes Shisui. Then the second time, he brings out Shisui Iruka position 1 over a Shisui, and then has Anbu Kakashi in the team. So it would be real funny if I hit the lightning mate with my freaking 4th mystery and took off their hiddens, right? It would be so hilarious if that ended up working out. So what happens next? Bam! You guessed it. Freaking hiddens went off. And that was probably like one of the just funniest moments of RNG in that night. Either way, one of them would have lost the hidden, but the funny thing is that the entire backline ended up getting their immunities taken away, which for me, it made this just whole night honestly so much better. It's like those little things that can really bring you like small enjoyment and excitement. So, oh man, it felt so good to just see all of them just lose their buffs in the back, and the double chaos to go off with it. It was at this moment, the overkill was happening round 2. Once I could get this Hokage Minato mystery to go off, it was already gonna be over. Like, I'm pretty sure it would kill his entire lineup. So, Kakashi being tagged, getting my boost, there's gonna be 2 interrupts regardless. The lightning main gets hit, and then you pretty much have those 2 die off with just Iruka being tagged. Shisui gets hit by a 9k from just a passive love tap, and then Iruka is all that's left. But good fight to Alex. I have my 2nd round tonight, so I will record that. Hopefully it works out in my favor. But there goes the team, guys. I don't know, you guys are the judge of this. Let me know, but from experience, I would say it was a alright to a good team, but nothing out of the ordinary. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.